Thank you for listening my presentation about the assignment. Before we go deeply in the assignment, I introduce a little bit myself. My name is Nguyen and currently I'm learning at the Heritage Universities. And of course, my major is the IT and I'm learning for the third year at the universities. So let's move on to the assignment. Like say for the report assignment, I create two files in Java which name grid item activities and the main activities. And I add in 6 image in drawable and create three files of activities XML with the name grid, main and row. So let's move on. The first files is the activity main XML. In here I create the grid view of the layout set following the question 1. So I create 2 columns here and add in the ID with the grid view and also coding for some vertical spacing and horizontal spacing, which means they have a little spacing between these items. So let's move on for the second files. In here you can see I changing the related layout and I give them the ID. Also in the creative layout, I adding 1 image right here and 1 text view which name dialog, and also give them of the ID for each of them. You can see right here, it's just 1 parameters in the whole layout, which means this is the first item 1, as you can see in the slip code demo here. So my ideal when I doing this assignment, I will create one of the parameter in the layout, and when we coding for the files main activity Java, we will double this for 6 layout. As you can see in here is the result of the 1 layout when we have the function of the code. So move on for the activity grid item XML. In here is the bigger ones when we click here and show the another one bigger for the previous view. Yeah, you can see here. And also create them the item views, text view here. Give them the ID image view and the grid data. Let me talk about this. When we use the layout below, which means this text view will following the ID when we want to constrain the parameter further. So if the image view in this picture, if you move everywhere, the text view have the constraint below will also depend and stick with the image view. So how about the grid activity server? In this, I create the text view, image view, and set up it with the name of image. And inside of them, I create the name, file by ID in the grid data, image with the image view. You see here. It just mean I create the name and finding the ID from here. And also I use the function intent because, like I said before, when create 1 parameters of the child, we will create 1 and we will double it for the 6 more. So when I use this function, it's calling and using another function in another file, specifically is the main activity.java. So in the main activity.java, you can see here the grid view I create the name grid view and a string character name, which means the name of the character in the screen right here. And for For the integers, I create a character image and give them the variable of the character I adding in the variable here. And you see, we have some picture here. So how about the override? In the override, I also using the grid view file by ID for the grid view, and moreover, I also using the custom adapter. The custom adapter, you can simply is like changing the advance of some function very useful when we coding in the Android Studio. So when I using this, I create a new customer, and this customer will need to clarify in the private class. And the grid view, I will set on item listener, which means when we click here, it will show the function we need. And like I said before, I use the intent for them. Content class intent put extra, the name I give the array I, and also put extra image, I give them the array I. So for the custom adapter in here, we will use the return the character length, return null, and return 0 when we get z of them. And for the last one, we have the override. I create a view1. View1 is just the name, and I use the get layout inflated, and the text view name I also finding the nickname and the image. For that, when the name the image, I will set text character with the array, and also for this is the symbol. When we use on of the function, we need to return the view. The specifically when I use create the view1 and get the function here, we also need to create more the names we need, and we use for the function when we click here and changing the new windows. Okay, that is one of the task 1. For the task 2, you can see on the screen. Let me talk about the activity main first. So you can see on the screen, I create 2 text files and 2 edit text, adding 6 buttons for the 6 function we need in a question 2. So for these of them, I also adding the ID address and constrain them stick in. I mean, not moving in the layers. And let me move on to the activities, main activities. In here, the edit text and the text view, I have 3 of the ID, which means number 1, number 2, and the result. So 3 of this will find by view ID, and for 6 function, I also use the double, the type of double for the calculators. In the assignment report, like I say, when the user input the value, it include the even or the odd numbers. So, and the result when the input value will show that combine the even and the odd numbers. That's why I use the double, the type of calculator doubles. You can see on the code here, from the row 32 and 34, we have the if else, because following the questions 2, when 2 of these box missing 1 values, they not even have values, we will use the totals, and we can change content of the main activity this, and give the text please enter the values. The totals mean like look like alerts when we want to do the function on of them. So let me take an example. When I push in here the 2 and I doing the calculators, it will show the please enter the values. Because, like say the tone, when we use for this, it will show the navigation below. And when we not input any values, it also keeps the user in the screen, and it's not well allowed to accomplish the calculators. Moreover, for the function device and the mode, I need to give more code for two of them, because when we, for example, when we take the divide function, we add in the 2 and the number 2 is 0. Maybe you can, using your calculators, it will show the infinity numbers. So to fix the error that I use for this code, and when we do the function, it will show the must be different from the 0. Sometimes when we not using the if else to fix the errors, it will show the infinity numbers, and of course maybe it can crash your projects immediately. So for the mod, it's the same. Yeah. So that is the end of the task 2 of the question 2. So thank you for listening my presentation about the assignment following the question 1 and the question 2. Have a good day.